The corridors of power and the grand halls of ancestral estates have long been shrouded in an atmosphere of carefully guarded secrets and calculated public appearances. For centuries, the global public has watched the movements of the world's most prominent figures with a mixture of fascination and skepticism, parsing every official statement and dissecting every candid photograph for a glimpse into the reality behind the gilded facade. In an era dominated by rapid-fire media cycles and instant digital connection, the art of personal branding has become a complex battlefield, particularly for those who were born into positions of immense historical weight, but have chosen to redefine their trajectories. When an individual whose entire life has been charted by tradition and protocol steps into the unvarnished, often unpredictable world of modern independent media, the resulting collision of worlds invariably generates a wave of intense scrutiny and speculation. The modern audience is no longer satisfied with polished press releases or tightly managed public relations campaigns. There is an insatiable appetite for raw, unfiltered human interaction, where the armor of titles and legacy is temporarily laid aside. This shifting dynamic creates a unique tension, as public figures attempt to balance the heavy responsibilities of their heritage with a contemporary desire for relatability and individual agency. To fully appreciate the unfolding narrative, one must look past the immediate headlines and examine the deeper undercurrents of a lifelong struggle for identity, purpose, and autonomy under the relentless glare of the international spotlight. Before we dive deeper into the remarkable events and unexpected encounters that have recently captured the world's attention, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth investigative reports on the stories shaping global culture. The unfolding drama of recent days serves as a powerful reminder that behind every historic title and high-profile controversy lies a deeply personal human journey, marked by difficult choices and a constant negotiation between the past and the future. Observers of the international scene have noted that the line between public duty and private life has become increasingly blurred, leading to situations that would have been unimaginable just a generation ago. We see a growing trend of prominent individuals seeking out alternative platforms to deliver their messages directly to the public, bypassing traditional media gatekeepers in favor of long-form conversations, where they can control their own narrative. This strategy, while potentially empowering, also exposes them to a new level of vulnerability, as the casual nature of these modern platforms can lead to unexpected disclosures and moments of raw honesty that are immediately amplified across the globe. The recent public appearances of one of the world's most talked-about figures have ignited a fresh wave of debate regarding the nature of modern celebrity, the weight of historical legacy, and the ongoing quest for personal fulfillment outside the rigid structures of an ancient institution. As we trace the steps of this individual through a series of seemingly disconnected events, ranging from intimate media conversations to high-stakes family gatherings and unusual charitable engagements, a complex portrait begins to emerge, challenging preconceived notions and raising profound questions about what it truly means to carve out an independent path in the modern world. The world watches with bated breath as the chapters of this contemporary saga continue to be written, with each new development adding layers of intrigue and tension to a story that is far from over. The juxtaposition of grand ceremonial history with the gritty reality of independent public life creates a narrative friction that is both compelling and deeply revealing, illustrating the profound challenges faced by those who attempt to bridge the gap between two entirely different eras. As the narrative progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that the events of the past several days are not merely isolated incidents, but rather the latest manifestations of a broader, more profound transformation that has been years in the making. The intricate dance between public perception and private reality remains a central theme, reminding us that the figures who capture our collective imagination are often navigating a complex web of expectations, obligations, and deeply personal aspirations that are hidden from casual view. By examining the subtle cues, the choice of words, and the specific environments chosen for these recent public interventions, we can begin to piece together a clearer picture of an ongoing evolution, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of the core events that have set the global media ablaze. The curtain was raised on this new chapter during an unexpected appearance on the Joe Marler Will See You Now podcast, a media platform known more for its raw, unfiltered sporting humor than for hosting individuals of historic lineage. When the host requested an introduction, the guest laid bare the multi-layered nature of his current identity, introducing himself formally as Henry Albert Charles David, Duke of Sussex, before casually offering the shorthand moniker of H. This striking contrast between ancient, formal nomenclature and a single-letter nickname immediately set a unique tone for the dialogue, illustrating the complex duality that defines his modern existence. As the conversation moved forward, the host pressed for a definition of his current occupation, a question that would puzzle anyone whose life has been structurally detached from traditional employment frameworks. The response was a rapid-fire catalogue of identities, with the speaker describing himself as a full-time dad, a British Army veteran, a Prince of England, and a Duke, before concluding with a candid, almost weary admission that, for the day itself, he truly did not know what role was expected of him. This moment of public vulnerability highlighted the ongoing tension of a man navigating a world where his historical labels exist alongside his chosen personal responsibilities. When the host attempted to characterize him as an inventor, specifically referring to the creation of the global sports tournament designed for wounded, injured, and sick military service members and veterans, a gentle but firm correction was issued. The speaker clarified that the term founder was far more accurate for the tournament, which was established in 2014 as a vital vehicle for the physical and psychological rehabilitation of military personnel. This particular exchange underscored his deep, unwavering commitment to the veteran community, a bond forged during his own years of active military duty, and one that remains a central pillar of his public identity even as other aspects of his life have undergone radical transformation. This specific media engagement is widely understood to have been recorded during a recent, highly scrutinized journey back to his home country. A trip that was ostensibly organized to generate momentum and promotion for the upcoming 2027 tournament, scheduled to take place in the industrial city of Birmingham. However, the logistical and emotional backdrop of this transatlantic voyage was fraught with intense behind-the-scenes drama and institutional friction that captivated international observers. The author of the best-selling memoir Spare embarked on this particular journey entirely alone, leaving his wife, Meghan Markle, the 44-year-old former actress recognized globally for her prominent role in the legal drama television series Suits, and their two young children, 7-year-old Prince Archie and 5-year-old Princess Lilibet, behind in their secure residence across the Atlantic Ocean. The decision to travel without his immediate family was heavily influenced by a highly publicized and ongoing dispute regarding security arrangements, specifically following the decision by authorities to deny them taxpayer-funded official security during their stays on British soil. The tension surrounding the visit escalated further when representatives for the speaker disclosed to prominent media outlets that a formal invitation to reside at Buckingham Palace during the duration of his stay had been abruptly withdrawn at the absolute last moment, despite the fact that he had already formally accepted the accommodation offer. This sudden logistical collapse painted a vivid picture of the deep diplomatic chill and communication barriers that continue to exist within the family structure, illustrating how even basic travel arrangements can become battlegrounds for broader institutional disagreements. Yet, just as the narrative seemed completely dominated by alienation and administrative conflict, a sudden and dramatic shift occurred behind closed doors, shifting the entire trajectory of the visit. Buckingham Palace officials unexpectedly confirmed that a private family reunion had indeed taken place on Friday at Highgrove House, the private family residence located in the Gloucestershire countryside. This quiet, unpublicized gathering brought together the Speaker, his wife Meghan Markle, and their two children for a face-to-face meeting with King Charles III and Queen Camilla. The emotional weight of this specific encounter cannot be overstated, as it marked the first time in 4 long years that young Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet had laid eyes on their 77-year-old grandfather, the reigning monarch. The last time the grandfather and grandchildren had shared physical space was during the late Queen Elizabeth II's historic Platinum Jubilee celebrations back in the summer of 2022, a time when the familial landscape was radically different. Due to the intensely private and sensitive nature of this royal reconciliation, palace sources have made it abundantly clear to the international press that photographic evidence of this historic meeting will almost certainly never be released to the general public, keeping the details of the emotional truce strictly confined to the walls of the estate. This hidden domestic drama stood in stark contrast to the highly visible, energetic public appearances that filled the remainder of his schedule, showing an individual determined to balance private healing with a vigorous commitment to public service and charitable engagement. The narrative tension built steadily as observers tried to reconcile the image of a prince negotiating security protocols and palace invitations with the image of a man seeking a genuine connection with his roots and his family, creating a compelling study in modern human complexity. As the final days of the UK visit approached, the sheer variety of his activities highlighted the extraordinary nature of his current public profile, where high-level family diplomacy can be followed immediately by grounded, highly unconventional community work, setting the stage for a dramatic conclusion to a remarkable journey. The emotional resonance of a private family gathering, tucked away from the prying eyes of the global press, provided a brief moment of quietude before the public obligations of this whirlwind trip demanded a return to the spotlight. This transition from the sacred, quiet corridors of personal reconciliation to the highly visible, often unpredictable theatre of public charity work encapsulates the modern struggle of a figure constantly balancing two entirely different worlds. It was in the rolling green landscapes of Warwickshire, located approximately 80 miles northwest of the bustling metropolis of London, that the final and perhaps most extraordinary chapter of this visit unfolded. Here, amidst the lively and spirited atmosphere of the Scotties' Little Soldiers Festival, the Duke of Sussex demonstrated a willingness to shed the traditional stiff formalities often associated with historical titles in favour of a raw, hands-on approach to community engagement. The event itself was designed to bring joy, laughter, and a sense of belonging to children who have faced the devastating, life-altering experience of losing a parent serving in the military forces. In a setting filled with games, outdoor activities, and shared stories, the atmosphere was deliberately kept light, offering a temporary sanctuary of happiness for families united by a shared, profound grief. It was during these festivities that the Speaker participated in an unexpected and highly unconventional activity that quickly became the focal point of international media coverage. illustrating his unique ability to connect with people through shared vulnerability and humor. The activity in question was a playful session of goat yoga, an increasingly popular wellness trend that combines traditional stretching and mindfulness with the unpredictable presence of small, active farm animals. Far from the sterile, highly controlled environments typical of traditional public appearances, this outdoor session saw the veteran and global figure sitting on a simple yoga mat on the grass, surrounded by curious and energetic goats. The scene quickly shifted from peaceful stretching to moments of pure, unscripted comedy as the animals began to climb onto the participants, showing absolutely no regard for titles, status, or historical legacy. In a moment that was captured by onlookers and subsequently shared widely across global media, one particularly enthusiastic goat decided to use the Duke as a climbing platform, stepping directly onto his groin area as he lay on the mat. Rather than reacting with frustration or embarrassment, the speaker embraced the chaotic absurdity of the moment, laughing heartily alongside the children and organizers who watched the playful encounter unfold. This willingness to be physically stepped on by farm animals in the name of charity highlighted a key aspect of his public appeal, showing a man who is entirely comfortable letting his guard down if it means bringing a smile to the faces of young people who have endured immense personal tragedy. The absolute lack of pretense during this session resonated deeply with the attendees, proving that genuine connection often requires a willingness to look foolish and to meet people exactly where they are, far away from the rigid expectations of courtly life. This memorable and humorous incident, while light-hearted on the surface, served a much deeper purpose by breaking down barriers and fostering a shared sense of joy that is often difficult to find in the wake of profound personal loss. To fully comprehend the significance of this light-hearted moment, one must understand the deep structural purpose of the organization hosting the festival. Scotty's Little Soldiers is a dedicated British charity founded by Nikki Scott in memory of her husband, Corporal Lee Scott, who was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2009, leaving behind 2 young children. The organization's mission is to support bereaved military children and young people up to the age of 25, providing them with essential mental health resources, educational grants, peer support networks, and opportunities to build happy memories despite their profound loss. The speaker's deep-seated connection to this specific cause is rooted in his own deeply personal history, having experienced the tragic and sudden loss of his mother, Princess Diana, when he was just 12 years old. This shared experience of childhood bereavement under the intense glare of the public eye has made him a passionate, highly empathetic advocate for the organization, allowing him to speak to these children not as an aloof historical figure, but as someone who truly understands the unique, isolating pain of losing a parent at a tender age. His involvement with the charity extends far beyond occasional public appearances, representing a long-term commitment to ensuring that the children of fallen service personnel are never forgotten by the society their parents died protecting. He has often spoken about how the feeling of being supported by a community of peers who have gone through the exact same struggle can be the ultimate catalyst for healing, helping these young people to navigate the complex journey of grief with strength, dignity, and hope. By sharing his own experiences and vulnerabilities, he helps to destigmatize the emotional struggles associated with early loss, offering a powerful example of how one can channel personal pain into a lifetime of service and support for others facing similar hardships. This profound empathy for the military community is a defining characteristic of his biography, shaped by a decade of active duty within the British Army. Over the course of his 10-year military career, which began with his training at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, he chose a path of genuine service that would see him face the same dangers as his fellow soldiers. He completed 2 demanding operational tours of duty in Afghanistan, first serving as a forward air controller in Helmand Province, and later returning as an Apache helicopter co-pilot gunner. During these deployments, he rose to the rank of captain, experiencing firsthand the harsh realities of combat, the ultimate sacrifices made by his comrades, and the devastating physical and psychological toll that war takes on service members and their families. It was this intense, transformative experience on the front lines, witnessing the courage of wounded soldiers and the grief of families who lost loved ones, that inspired him to establish the Invictus Games in 2014. This global sporting event has since become an internationally acclaimed symbol of resilience, recovery, and human triumph, utilizing the power of adaptive athletics to aid the physical and psychological rehabilitation of veterans worldwide. By providing a platform where former soldiers can redefine their lives after catastrophic injuries, he created a legacy that transcends traditional boundaries and continues to touch thousands of families across the globe. As plans move forward for the highly anticipated 2027 tournament in Birmingham, his recent promotional efforts in his home country serve as a crucial bridge uniting his military past with his ongoing mission to champion those who have served their nations. The upcoming Games in Birmingham will represent a poignant homecoming for the tournament, bringing the international spotlight back to the very nation where his journey of service began and highlighting the enduring impact of his vision on a global scale. Ultimately, the events of this brief but incredibly eventful visit to the United Kingdom paint a picture of an individual navigating an extraordinary path, defined by an intricate balance of grand historical legacy and deeply personal practical philanthropy. From the quiet, emotionally charged reconciliation with his family at Highgrove House, to the playful, unscripted moments spent laughing with bereaved children in Warwickshire, the journey highlights a complex, ongoing evolution of identity. By choosing to engage with the public through direct, unfiltered conversations and down-to-earth community work, he continues to challenge the traditional boundaries of what is expected of someone born into his position. The juxtaposition of his royal heritage with his practical, hands-on dedication to grassroots causes demonstrates a unique approach to modern public service, one that prioritizes authentic engagement over symbolic gestures. This approach not only redefines his own role in society, but also challenges the broader institutions of celebrity and tradition to adapt to an era that demands transparency, empathy, and active participation. As the world watches his next steps, both in his personal life and on the global stage of the upcoming sports tournament, it is clear that his commitment to service, his dedication to his family, and his willingness to embrace vulnerability will continue to define his unique place in modern history. This journey serves as a powerful reminder that the most enduring legacies are not those carved into stone or dictated by ancient protocols, but those built through simple acts of human connection, shared laughter, and a steadfast refusal to let the weight of the past dictate the boundless potential of the future.